In this movie, we'll see the Skype for Business mobile app for iOS and Android devices. This app will let you send and receive calls and join meetings in Skype for Business when you're not at your computer. We'll go through this movie using an iPhone, but the iOS and Android apps are nearly identical, so Android users will be able to see everything they need here as well. The Skype for Business app is free on the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. I'm just going to jump into the Apple App Store. You can see I was able to find it here by searching for Skype for Business. And it is a good idea to actually search for Skype for Business because there is a different app simply called Skype, which plugs into that other service. So I found Skype for Business. I already installed it. I have it here on my main screen. So let's launch it and go through the initial setup. First, it's asking me for permissions to send me notifications and to access my contacts. That's all fine. I'm going to allow these. Then I'm going to hit the next button. I'll hit OK. And now I'll need to sign in with my Office 365 account. So I'll put in my email address. I'll tap Next. If you see this error message, don't worry about it. It's saying I'm not able to sign in, but I haven't actually put in my password yet. I just need to hit OK. Then I can plug in my password. And then I'll hit Sign In. Next, you will also be required to add your phone number to the app. If you do not have a connection to Wi-Fi or an internet connection over cellular, Skype will be able to use your cellular phone connection to connect you to the audio in a Skype call. So you'll just need to put in your phone number. And then I'll hit Next again. I've got a few introductory screens which I'll just flip through. I'll hit Got It. And now we can start getting familiar with the interface. Now, of course, you do not have all of the features of Skype for Business here in the mobile app. But all of the features that you do see here are similar to what we've already explored in this course. You start here on the Recent screen, where you can see a list of recent conversations that you've had. You'll also see any upcoming meetings that you may have on your schedule listed here. Now you can tap on any of these recent conversations and continue that conversation through instant message. I can just tap on something and I can send a text message here. But for now, I'm going to hit the back button in the top left to go back. Another thing you could do here on this main screen is search for a contact. So if I tap on the search field up here at the top, and then type in somebody's name or email address, it will search my organization, and I could find somebody here, and I could tap on their name, and I could start a conversation that way. Once again, I'm going to reset by hitting the back arrow in the top left corner. I'm going to cancel this search, and we're back here on this main screen. Back here on this main screen, we see three buttons up near the top right corner: Meetings, Dial Pad, and Contacts. And these work the same as the desktop application. If I go to Meetings, I'll see a list of any upcoming meetings I may have scheduled. If I go to Dial Pad, I can dial an actual phone number. And just like on the desktop, the Dial Pad feature is only useful for organizations that have their Skype service integrated into a telephone system. If your company does have that service, then you can call traditional phone numbers from here. I'm going to hit the X in the top left corner, and then the third button up in the top right will be Contacts. And here I can see the same list of contacts and groups that I have in the Skype for Business application on the desktop computer. I can open up one of these groups, and I can see the people that I may want to talk to. So once again, I can tap on a person here in my contacts, and I could send a message this way. Now, I do want to point out that you can send a message to multiple people. What you would do is start with one single person, as we have here, tap on this menu near the top of the screen, and it will open up a little menu, and there's an option there to add participants. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stick to a one-on-one conversation for now. So from here, I could send a message just by tapping on the text field down at the bottom of the screen, and I can send a basic text message. And in a moment, I'll get a response. Very similar to what we might see on the desktop computer. But I think it's going to be more interesting to see an audio or video call. So let's jump into a video call. Once again, we're using the demo account with the name Stuart, but my friend Garrick will answer that account. So up in the top right corner, I have a camera and a phone button, so I can start a video or an audio call. Let's do a video call. So I'll tap on the video button. And it's asking me for permission to use my camera. That's fine. And it may also ask you for permission to use your microphone. There it is. So I'm going to hit OK on that. And now we're connected, and in a moment, Garrick should be able to hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Nick.
Excellent. Great. So while we're in the call, I can tap on the screen and I can get some on-screen controls. I can hang up the call here and I can mute my microphone and do a few other things. So we can just go ahead and have a normal video conversation here, but I want to talk about some other features. As we've gone through this course, we talked about things like screen sharing and whiteboards and stuff like that. And not all of those features are going to work here on the mobile app. Of course, I'm not able to share a whiteboard from the mobile app. I'm not able to share my desktop from the mobile app, but I can receive those signals if some other people are sharing that information with me. But not all of those things can be displayed on the mobile app. So, for example, Garrett, can you share something with me? Let's start with, I think you have a PowerPoint ready that you can share with me. Can you do that?
Yep, I can do that.
All right, so Garrett is using the same features that we talked about earlier in this course to share a PowerPoint file. And as we know, it takes a moment for that connection to start up. And once that's ready, we should see his PowerPoint presentation here on the screen. Now I see this little swirling circle telling me that it's loading. And after a moment, and now I can see that presentation here on the screen. So Garrett can show me his presentation, and even though I'm on the mobile app, I can still see it. But like I said, not all of these features will work. Garrett, let's try something different. Can you try to share a whiteboard with me?
Sure.
All right, so as we've seen before, Garrett is going to close that presentation. And in a moment, he's going to switch over to the whiteboard. And something very interesting is happening here. I have a notification on my screen that says this content cannot be viewed on mobile apps. So you're going to see that some of the content that people share from the desktop version will be viewable on the mobile app and some will not. We could ask Garrett to share his desktop, but I know that's not going to work because you cannot view the desktop that somebody is sharing in the mobile app in a one-on-one conversation. But it will work if you're in a group meeting. So you might just want to try some of these things and see if they work for you. And that's really all I wanted to see. Thanks for helping me out again, Garrett.
No problem.
And of course, when we're finished, I can just tap on the screen to bring up the on-screen controls, hit the little hang up button, and that will disconnect the call. And we're back to the normal text conversation, and we could continue talking here through instant message if we wanted to. But now let's see what happens when somebody calls you in the mobile app. When Garrett calls me, I will see the notification in whichever tool I might be using. If I'm signed into the desktop, I'll see it there, but I see it here on my mobile app. So I'm going to hit accept. And you can see that looks almost exactly the same as receiving a phone call on my device. And now we're back into Skype for Business and the connection is there again. Now, if I did not have the Skype for Business app running, I would still see the notification. Because the app will run in the background, will receive notifications in the background, it would look basically like I was receiving a phone call, and when I answered, it would launch the Skype for Business app, and we could continue from there. All right, Garrett, I think we're actually finally done here. Thanks a lot.
Sure, you got it.
All right, so I'll tap the screen to bring up the on-screen controls and hit the hang up button. And the last thing I want to look at here in the mobile app is settings. So I'm going to hit the back arrow in the top left to get out of this conversation. I'm going to tap on my picture in the top left corner, and we see some options here. I see my status. I can tap on that and change my status if I want to. For now, I'm going to hit the back button again. And then I could go into settings and take a look at some options here. I can see my phone number. I could tap on that and update that if I need to change my phone number. And then one thing that's interesting that I want to talk about, these options for require Wi-Fi for. Let's say I had these options turned off and somebody called me in a video chat. Then if I had a cellular connection with mobile data, then it would do the video chat through that mobile data. And if you have a limited amount of mobile data on your service plan, that would eat up your quota pretty quickly. So a lot of people prefer to enable these options so that you are only able to send and receive video calls and receive meeting content when you're connected over Wi-Fi. So these are some options you might want to take a look at. Of course, when we're finished, I can tap the arrow in the top left corner to get back out of that, hit the X to go back to the main screen. Most people will not use the mobile app as their primary interface for Skype for Business, but it's a great supplement and it is useful to stay in touch with calls and meetings when you're not at your desk.